Why did Jesus choose someone like Saint Peter, a poor sinner, and to grant him with such a powerful grace, that of infallibility in doctrine of salvation? There is a very deep reason. This is because by placing on a man with such power, he had to be able to remain humble. Finally, a grace like that which is attributed Simon Peter is not something that belongs to Peter in his own right. The only cornerstone, say Protestants with reason, is Christ. It is he who possesses divine power and infallibility. So if by his divine power he places upon a man chosen from among sinners with such a power, and that in addition he places him in charge of as universal head of his church, from the point of view of pastoral work, therefore political decisions concerning the crowd, but also from the point of view of the liturgy, this man must be particularly modest. And so I think we can say that if Jesus allowed St. Peter to be courageous at the same time as he takes out his sword to defend him during the arrest, and at the same time, a few minutes later, Peter had been more cowardly than anyone to the point of renouncing before a little servant girl looking at him, consequently, he will never be tempted to take pride in this immense power that he has been granted to him, and in fact, burned by the memory of his triple betrayal and by other failures that St. Peter had, who had been a brave man with immediate courage, but who had been a poor sinner in daily life, St. Peter will never get into before. He will use this received grace for the service for the church. When it is necessary to preach the truth, he will do so. It is he who preaches at the Council of Jerusalem. It is also he who launches the church with a very precise preaching about Christ, and finally he adds to take the apostolic seat at Rome, at the heart of this empire. But before such a power, always he will remain modest to the point that his successors would sometimes even be unaware that this grace exists, and that it was the Catholic Church which, observing it over the centuries, noted that there never had ever risen on the seat of Peter someone who officially proclaimed heresy as such. Some cite Honorius Premier. It was just not very precise, shall we say, not very effective against monotheism. That is to say, this heresy which says that Christ has only one will. Christ possesses two wills, a divine will and a human will, since he has two complete natures. But this is not in the proclamation of a heresy as such. This grace or charisma will have to be recognized one day, and at some point when fullness will be exercised among the popes, they will become proud, and this pride will cause tears within the church, so that God from the 19th century would have to wrest from the Pope some of their powers, their crown, in particular the Vatican States, which gave them such political autonomy that they were like princes of this world. Suddenly, by impoverishing them, by taking them along a path that did not seek, as Jesus had announced to Peter, when you will behold, another will put your belt upon you to take you where you would not want to go. Christ made the pontifical ministry more holy and the papacy more humble, more at the service of its mission.